Hello, dear participants and Etwinners. I would like you to welcome to this learning event, Creating Apps for Etwinning Projects. My name is Marco Neves. I'm a science computer teacher in a small town in the center of Portugal called Batalha. Some of the educational goals for our learning event will be discuss coding as a way to promote creativity, involve students and teachers with code activities in the context of Etwinning projects, and also develop cross-curriculum activities using the possibilities that are offered by code, engaging different teachers and subjects. Expected outcomes, what we expect at the end of this learning event. Build apps. In this case, we will be using online platform called App Inventor. And of course, to create apps, we will need at least to learn some very basic principles of coding, and of course we hope that the competence and the knowledge that will be learned during this learning event could be transferred into Etwinning projects. For the students, allow them to discover the possibility of using their imagination, creativity and inspiration, developing apps using online platforms to create and develop code. Main tasks. In the first approach, in the first part of this learning event, we will be discussing the importance of coding in the educational contexts. And of course, we will ask you to share ideas, practice on how to promote code in Etwinning, and of course also share tools and platforms that you think that are able to be promoting code in Etwinning and also in classroom activities. In the second part, we will be focused more on App Inventor. Firstly, we will ask you to install and explore some apps, and of course explore App Inventor. And in the end, ask you to plan and create an app with App Inventor. But because we will list other online platforms and other tools, you can also create your app with other tools or platforms that you think that you are most able to use and to create apps. So we will be work very hard, but of course with payoff later. What is App Inventor? App Inventor will be the main tool for us during this learning event. App Inventor is a web platform, allow us to create apps only for Android devices, not for Windows devices or Apple devices. For those that doesn't have an Android device, you can use the emulator, but let me tell you, it's not the same thing. But for this learning event, will be okay. That's using the emulator. You need to install some software on your computer to be capable of using the emulator to testing your apps that we will build during the learning event. In the App Inventor, we will not writing code, okay? So don't be afraid. We will not be using some very complex like this. Instead, we'll be using blocks. Blocks are much easier to create the code that we need because they are more intuitive, they are visual, so they are easier to use comparing to writing code. Other tools and platforms that we can use to promote code activities. Code.org is one of the most known platforms. There are lots of activities. They connect with very interesting things like Minecraft, Star Wars, and so on. You have Scratch. Scratch is one of the most that is used to promote code activities. We have AppLab. AppLab is integrated in Code.org project and allow you also to create apps. From Microsoft, you have Touch Develop. You have Tinker, it's a very interesting one for coding for kids. Even allow, if you have drone, to create programs that will control the drones. We have Code Warriors. Code Warriors is an app that you install in Android or Apple devices, and you have to control, let's say, robot warriors to fight against other robot warriors. But to do that, you have to write some code. And it's very interesting because, you know, our students, they love to play games, but in this case they are playing games, but at the same time they are learning code. And Code Academy allows you to learn different types in an interactive mode for different language. In order to receive the certificate in this learning event, we'll ask you to plan and build an app that you have to submit on activity 4. As I told you before, we'll ask you to create the app on App Inventor, but if you want to use another tool or another platform, there is no problem. You can use it. Others, you don't have the obligation to use App Inventor, but our learning event will focus mainly on App Inventor. Besides our platform, our learning lab, we will have other social spaces. We will have a Facebook group that we can use to share ideas, to share practice, to share different types of things that we can use with code. We'll have an hashtag for Twitter, also an email that you can use to post questions, difficulties, every time you want to have some kind of problem during the learning event. So let's start and have some fun with App Inventor and with Etwinning.